protest today on both sides of the Planned Parenthood funding debate. A group against federal funding was outside the Planned Parenthood offices on Congress Street, saying they oppose taxpayer dollars going to Planned Parenthood and to abortions. Federal funds, however, don't pay for abortions.
Women are persons, women are people.
Oh no, he's getting political. Well, not really. We've all heard of Planned Parenthood as this, as an abortion clinic, as somewhere where we can obtain reproductive health, and it's been centered in a lot of debates about Roe versus Wade and abortion access and contraceptive care, birth control, all that jazz. But really, my aim in this video is to prove to you all that Planned Parenthood is so much more than that. It's more than just a place you can go when you need an abortion or if you need your birth control pills. It's truly, as the title implies, it is a genuine medical provider, and I think it has implications to the overall world of medical care as a whole, and that's honestly what I aim to prove or discuss in this video. I'm not going to prove anything. I don't know anything. Let's just jump right into it. Planned Parenthood began with, there's no easy way to say this, but a woman named Margaret Sanger, who was a eugenics activist. For those unaware, eugenics is essentially the practice or belief that humans could be or should be bred for desirable traits such as intelligence, industriousness, or, being white. Not ideal, obviously. This idea of eugenics was quite popular among certain sects of people at the time being late 1910s into the 1920s. That doesn't make it okay. That's just historical context for you. Sanger, in collaboration with her sister Ethel Brine and an activist, Fania Mendel, opened the United States' first birth control clinic in 1916 in Brooklyn, New York. For this, they were arrested, and Sanger spent 30 days in prison for refusing to pay the fine she accrued for committing this act, which was illegal at the time. Birth control was illegal at the time. Throughout her life, despite her troubling beliefs, she did spend a lot of time spreading the word about birth control to women and doing a lot of activism in that sense. From there, from her arrest and the initial birth control clinic, the birth control train, as it were, had been set off. For the next several years, Sanger researched and spread awareness about birth control, something which was illegal in the United States at the time. In 1948, Planned Parenthood, which had not yet been incorporated for 10 years, awarded a small grant to 3 men who began developing a birth control pill. In 1956, the pill, containing approximately 20 times higher concentrations of hormones than the pills on the market today, were tested on unsuspecting Puerto Ricans who were not properly informed of the drug's experimental status. Between 1965 and 1970, several court cases and bills made it easier for Planned Parenthood to spread access to reproductive health care and birth control. Then, in 1973, the historic Roe versus Wade case, which was recently overturned, secured access to abortions within the first 3 months of pregnancy to all women across the country. Since then, Planned Parenthood has continued to be a vocal advocate for sexual and reproductive health, with a growing number of clinics reaching just over 600 across the U.S., with 49 little subsections, like Planned Parenthood of Northern New England, Planned Parenthood of Western New York, Yeah. Today, reproductive health is what most people know Planned Parenthood for. With the current ongoing war on women's bodies, Planned Parenthood has remained a target for groups who think that having a uterus is somehow something they have a say in. Despite this, Planned Parenthood remains to be the largest provider for women's sexual and reproductive health in the United States. 62% of Planned Parenthood health centers offer same-day appointments, which is compared to 58% of federally qualified health centers, and the, while unfortunate, still a lot higher than I would have expected, 42% of regular health centers. This is amplified by the average 1.2 day wait for an initial contraceptive appointment at a Planned Parenthood clinic, as compared to the average 4.1 day wait for the same appointment at a regular health center. Additionally, in many low-income communities, Planned Parenthood centers are women's main or only access to reproductive care in their area. Planned Parenthood provides so much more than just reproductive health nowadays. In fact, since 2005, Planned Parenthood health centers across the country have been able to provide hormone replacement therapy for trans patients. This care is genuinely so important for them to provide. Across the U.S., there are around 60 to 100 gender clinics, like gender-specific clinics, a number which varies a lot across sources. And at these clinics, staff are often overworked with large caseloads, making it difficult for patients to receive timely care. For example, for myself, I struggled greatly to even receive basic appointments at my local gender clinic, leading me to not work with them anymore. Compare that to the over 600 Planned Parenthood clinics, as I mentioned earlier, available across the country, and it is easy to see why them adding this service is so vital to trans people who would struggle to receive care otherwise, especially in today's day and age with, restrictions only increasing and getting stronger as things happen. It's unfortunate, and I'm scared. Similarly, since 1987, Planned Parenthood has provided low to no cost HIV testing. According to an article by Dr. Hal Lawrence and Deborah Ness, Planned Parenthood health centers serve over 2.5 million patients yearly. Within that population, health centers perform approximately 270,000 pap smears and 360,000 breast exams, both which are vital preventative care treatments for those susceptible to cancer and even those who are not. Planned Parenthood says in their mission statement, additionally, that our mission is to ensure all people have access to the care and resources they need to make informed decisions about their bodies, their lives, and their futures. In accordance with this mission, Planned Parenthood has committed to providing a comprehensive sex education to students across the country. Though they have a very limited region of about 6 states at the moment, this work remains to be important. According to their website, high-quality, comprehensive sex ed includes information on a variety of topics related to sex and sexuality, exploring values and beliefs about those topics, and gaining skills that are needed to navigate relationships and manage one's own sexual health. I was lucky enough to experience a Planned Parenthood sex ed presentation firsthand. While it was a couple years ago now, I do remember leaving the presentation with a much more thorough understanding of sex, the implications of consent, contraception, the necessity for those things, what my options were, what I could do if something happened, and just all that. For many young people, sex ed is simply a class that you sit through in middle school and high school that teaches you to either not have sex or how to have sex or what sex means for cisgender and heterosexual individuals and how it results in having a baby, and not much more than that. That is why it is so important that Planned Parenthood has committed to this mission of creating a comprehensive sex education, not just for cisgender and heterosexual people, but for people of all genders, sexualities, and identities should be aware of their options, how to be safe, all that good stuff. So it's really important that Planned Parenthood is spreading the good word, I guess, of safe and healthy consensual sex and relationships. Honestly, the amount of people that I know that have been in damaging and toxic relationships, even at our young age, is ridiculous and insane. And obviously it affects LGBTQ populations higher than it affects heterosexual populations, probably because of sex ed being so focused on heterosexuality and cisgendered people. Imagine if we had all had a comprehensive sex education on how to, ask for consent, how to deny consent and stand up for yourself, how to recognize a toxic or abusive relationship, how to decide how to know whether you're ready or not to have sex yet. Imagine if we had all had the kind of education to be able to recognize that within ourselves, how much healthier of relationships we would be having as young people, potentially, maybe. I'm saying sex a lot more in this video than I wanted to. Additionally, I gotta stop saying additionally. Planned Parenthood is also the only medical provider that I know of, and it's really hard to find resources on this, but medical provider who openly displays their pricing. I will clarify specifically, in the waiting room of every Planned Parenthood is a list, and I will show it if I can find it, but I've been struggling to find it in my research for this video. There is a list of prices or donations that a potential donor could provide and what medical service that donation amount would provide for a patient who could not pay for it for themselves. For example, the lowest tier is like $5 or $10 providing condoms and contraceptives for someone who would need that, and the highest, I believe, is around $200 to provide the first dose of HRT to a trans patient. Again, essential service. And there's everything in between there. Unlike hospitals and traditional health centers, Planned Parenthood, with the help of donors, is able to provide low and no-cost services to those who need them, making these health centers a vital resource for people without health insurance. Most people are aware that U.S. healthcare runs on a privatized insurance system where most people purchase or are given health insurance as a part of their jobs. Because of this healthcare entry cost, systemically, health is seen as a privilege as opposed to a right. What happens is that to justify their existence and boost paychecks for both doctors and insurance providers, insurance companies and medical providers essentially make up high prices where it seems as though insurance companies are saving their customers tons of money when in reality, before the rise of insurance companies, those services simply did not cost as much. How does Planned Parenthood fit into this? Well, as Planned Parenthood is most known for providing reproductive health care, they can give patients discounted costs by using Title X federal funding. Title X federal funding essentially allows reproductive health care clinics to cover the cost of family planning for patients who are not be able to pay otherwise. This does not include abortion. Like I was saying, while it doesn't cover every single service that Planned Parenthood provides, donations allow them to further aid those who would not be able to pay out of pocket at a typical health clinic. Sort of wrapping up conclusion. Planned Parenthood is a vital healthcare institution that has been aiding patients seeking reproductive, contraceptive, and other healthcare services for the past 100 years. Over 100 years at this point. They started in 1916, technically. With their accessibility to many lower-income communities, these health centers can provide care to a wider range of people than traditional healthcare providers who may only accept one or two insurance types. Additionally, Planned Parenthood has taken on the task of providing proper, comprehensive sex education across the country that is honestly all too rare. So, while they are the source of many, many controversies, I would argue that this organization is actually one of the good ones. So, go be mad at insurance companies jacking up the medical prices. They're the real devils. I mean, come on, who needs $200 for an IV bag that costs the hospital less than $1? With that said, all sources are going to be in the description, and I hopefully also put them on screen. I will list them off. I will list that I did watch Adam Conover's the video he did about oh, Adam ruins healthcare for the bit about the insurance, and he does have sources within that, but I prefer watching and listening to content as opposed to reading stuff in order to learn. So credit to, I think, he sources from the New York Times in that, as well as just stuff he says that doesn't have a source that I assume he did his own research on. And the clips at the beginning of this video were from a Channel 8 news report from 2017, and the pictures were from various news reports of these same protests. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I know this was a lot different from videos I've done, but I'm just trying. I'm just trying things, and I did not go that in depth. But it's okay because I don't know. I'm just, it only a movie.